All right, everybody. Hopefully this is recording. 1.2 systems. What is a system? I will tell you that I had to record this last night, 40 minutes, 44, and yeah, then it didn't save. So redoing this. All right. Define system for me. All right. You can use Google for that. You can use anything you want. Each of us is part of this system we call society. If you're watching this, you're probably of a system called a school. You're probably of a system called a family. You might be on a team. All of these are systems. Decisions on the environment aren't just made from political, scientific, or economic systems. There can be from religious systems. You can be part of a family system, part of a team. Systems affect what we can and cannot do. All right? You can't go further than the team allows you, basically. All right. Why I bring that up is because, hey, you recycle. That's awesome. You can help out the environment. But in the grand scheme of things, it's this much. All right. You need the whole team, the whole system to get involved on to really get maximum effect. The human place in the biosphere. The biosphere is the part of the earth where life exists. It's the part where we live on. It's the part where you see other life forms as well, whether they are animal or plant. Biosphere self-regulates and strives for balance. It doesn't like going crazy, too far this way or too far that way. It will go a little bit this way, then it'll correct. All right, it tends to self-regulate very well. Anthrosphere, part of the earth made or modified by humans. So what we can touch, what we can impact. So yeah, we do some mining, all right? Yeah, guess what? We put balloons off in the atmosphere too. We send rocket ships up. Actually, there's a space station. You could almost put a hole through that with anthrosphere, because space is now anthrosphere. Mines, cities, farms, roads, etc. Stuff that isn't alive. The anthroposphere reduces the biosphere. So, evaluate this statement. How true is it, or how false is it? Does the anthrosphere increase the biosphere? Is there more living space because of humans? Is there less because of humans? All that good stuff. All right. Other spheres are the atmosphere. Yep, you've heard of that one, unless you're an airhead. Haha, teacher joke. All right, geosphere. Lithosphere, which is rocks, and the pedosphere, which is soil. So, yep, rock and soil, they make up quite a bit of our living atmosphere, too, because of just with plant growth and whatnot. Hydrosphere, water. Yep. Salt water, fresh water, you bet it. Cryosphere, frozen water. Think of Elsa. Let it go. All right. Frozen water, glacier, ice caps, stuff like that. System diagrams. System input plus outputs are matter or energy. Matter is heck, this thing is matter. Here, this is an acorn squash. We just grew in our garden out there by accident. It was a compost pile, but hey, put up an acorn squash. Oh yeah, this has got matter. All right, let's see how else we can work this in. System storage can be living or non-living. All right, yep, so this one definitely did store energy. Sunlight came on in. Photosynthesis stores it in chemical bonds, which are in the flesh or matter and the seeds. Yep. All right, let's see. Flows equal movement of matter or energy. Oh, this is good. All right, so yeah, if sunlight comes on in, that's energy. Plants take it on up, that energy. That energy is then transferred with photosynthesis to make an acorn squash. Unfortunately, the acorn squash dies. Oh, so tragic. No, it didn't get consumed or anything. All right, then it goes off into the soil. Decomposes where the energy then enters into the soil, and lets decomposers take that energy on up. So all that's a flow. In diagrams, storage is represented by boxes with the size relative to the storage size. So look, if you were to eat an acorn squash, you would not get the nutrients and calories that you would get from eating a hamburger. You would have to eat more of these. So the storage size, box size for this would not be as big as a hamburger. All right. Transfers and transformations. Transfers are equal matter, energy moves, but doesn't change its state, chemical nature. Water going from river to oceans. It's still water. Sugar is going from rabbit to the fox as the fox eats the rabbit. It's still chemical energy. All right, still chemical bonds. Heat energy moving with ocean currents. Getting warmer there. Haha, you see how I use that? All right. Transformations are matter energy moves but changes its state, chemical nature. Matter to matter. Glucose converted to starch in plants. So, yep. Probably use this one too. All right. So, sunlight comes in, photosynthesis, glucose made. Plant uses that glucose to start laying down starches. Yep. That's how you get the structure. Energy to energy. Sunlight converted to heat as it hits the blacktop. Got someone doing a cool IA on this right now. So it's sunlight, it transfers from light energy to thermal energy. Yep. Energy to matter, photosynthesis. Yep. Crazy little face. Matter to energy, wood burning stove or car engine using gasoline. So yeah, energy is stored in chemical bonds in the gasoline. Those chemical bonds are broken. There's kind of like an explosion with it, which then is transferred on and off to mechanical energy. However, though, there's a lot of heat energy produced. So that's why the engine for a gas car never has issues with heat, meaning like it doesn't have heat, because every time the gas engine runs, it produces heat, which is wasteful energy. Electric cars, when they run, they don't produce heat. So all their energy goes into movement energy pretty much. So, yep, that's why electric cars tend to be more efficient than gas cars. Transfers plus transformations both require energy. So transfers are easier, more efficient, require less energy, because you're just taking from one thing to another. It's like putting a $5 bill in your right pocket, putting it in your left pocket. Didn't take a whole lot of effort. Now, if you were to take that $5 bill and break it down into like quarters and put it like up on a shelf, that would take more energy. So relate transfers and transformations to electric vehicles, EVs, and traditional internal combustion engines, ICE vehicles. If you listened to me about a minute or 90 seconds ago, you probably heard about that. Open and closed systems. Open systems exchange matter plus energy with the environment. Most systems are open, all right? They're pretty much all the ecosystems. Closed systems are fake. They're mostly man-made, rare in nature. It exchanges energy, but not matter with the environment. So it basically keeps the matter. So no natural closed systems on Earth. Earth itself is almost closed, though, because sunlight comes in and heats the Earth. Some of that heat is transferred to space. We do lose some, but most of it is kept within the Earth, so it keeps us warm. That way we're not cold like the dark side of the moon. Closed systems are mostly artificial and for research purposes. All right, image search sealed terrarium and draw one with your favorite plant in there. Make sure the plant is school appropriate. I don't need a, Venus flytrap eating a human being, something like that. So, research Biosphere 2 on page 22 or online. Why do you think it was called Biosphere 2? All right. Biosphere 1 is Earth, by the way. Why was it considered a closed system? Did anything get out? Was it truly a closed system? What was learned from the Biosphere 2 experiments? Relate this to humanity's ability to restore an ecosystem once has been destroyed. Ooh, once it's been destroyed, hard to get it up and running again. All right, equilibrium. Define stable equilibrium. Change happens just slowly over time. Give an example of something that gets better or worse slowly over time. GPA. hate to say it, but a lot of people's freshman GPA is pretty low. And then you start sophomore year, you figure it out. By the time junior year rolls around, you're like, you know what? I'm not even doing it for the parents. I'm doing it for me. Gonna make some money in this world. Define steady state equilibrium. Examples of a steady state equilibrium. Pond fills from a stream at the same rate it flows out another stream. So one stream comes in, the other stream goes out. As long as it's the same rate, it's steady state equilibrium. Another one is in business. You've got money coming in from sales. Hopefully you got more money coming in from sales than going out for payroll and expenses. That's what makes your company profitable. If you have less money coming in than going out for for expenses and employment cost, then your business is going under. So, animal population is some die, others are born. One goes out, one comes in. Yep, steady state equilibrium. Unstable and stable equilibria. Stable equilibria is a system returns back to normal after a disturbance. Hurricane hits. We'll say Puerto Rico. My wife's from Puerto Rico. They had Hurricane Maria down there. Yes, the landscape changes, but within a short period, the environment returns to normal. So yeah, Puerto Rico got knocked the heck out by Hurricane Maria. Their tropical forests looked like they were destroyed, decimated. But they bounced back pretty quick. All right. Our student-teacher relationship. Both of us are cranky one day and tell the other off. But the next day, back to normal. All right, hey, I had a bad day. I missed coffee this morning. Hey, I didn't get breakfast. Something like that, Hey, the bus was late dropping you off. Something along those lines. We're just, all right. But the next day, we're like, oh, we're all good. All right. Unstable equilibria. System does not return after a disturbance. Common examples that keep coming up. Global average temperature keeps going up, which sets a new warmer norm that just increases the temperature more. So look, temperature goes up, unstable equilibria, and that's your new normal. Then it gets warmer, and then that's the new normal, and then that's the new normal. So it keeps ramping up. There's no going back easily. There's no drop in the temperature easily. Same thing also with relationship, where somebody cheats. There's no going back to normal. Once they cheat, they're always going to be a cheater. So, yep. Good way to remember it for unstable equilibria. Let's see. Going back to Biosphere 2, was it a stable or unstable equilibria? What do you think? All right. Feedback loops. Systems are continuously being affected by outside. Let's see if I can lower that. Yeah. Actually, I'll bring that down to there, and I'll bring myself here. Good. All right. Feedback loops. Systems are continuously being affected by outside plus inside forces. So negative feedback isn't what you think in that it's like, oh, negative, bad. Not at all. Negative feedback, first of all, define feedback loop. All right, yeah. Define negative feedback loop and define positive feedback loop. Negative feedback loop examples, your body temperature increases, so you begin to sweat to lower your body temperature. Negative feedback loops always bring you back to like that center, normal, average point, all right? So if you get too hungry, you eat ice cream. But you know what? Like, you start eating ice cream, you're like, oh, this is good, a little bit more. But then, like, eventually your stomach's like, yeah, we're good. We're no longer hungry. And in fact, if you keep eating, it's going to go bad. So you stop eating ice cream, and it brings you back to normal hunger pain. So, all right. Examples of negative feedback. Your body temperature increases, so you begin to sweat to lower body temperature. Thermostat in our classroom senses an increase in heat from more students, so it turns on the AC. It's going to turn off the AC too once that temperature lowers. So the global temperature increases, so there's more ice caps melt. More water means more clouds. More sunlight gets reflected off the clouds. The global temperature decreases. So then you get more ice coming. So increase in bunnies equals more food for foxes. All right. More foxes survive, decrease in the bunny population. Because the bunny population decreases, then the fox population is going to decrease. That'll be a question later on, by the way. Examples of positive feedback. You are on top of a really high, really high cold mountain like the idiot below, that guy there. As you get colder, shivering no longer works and your body gets colder and colder. That is hypothermia. So what happens is your body temperature goes cold, colder, 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 colder. Oh, it just keeps going down. All right. Yep. So, yep, that's an example of positive feedback. All right. Let's go with this. Low-income countries. Lick. Poverty causes low education plus health. More people are born, which just makes everyone poor. It's the same amount of resources, but now you got to feed the same amount, but more people. Stretches those resources out thinner. It makes people poorer. So global temperature increases, which melts the ice caps. More rock and dark soil is showing though, and that absorbs more sunlight, and then the global temperature goes up because those rocks and soil get warmer. So define albedo for me. All right, it's a term you can use quite a bit in ESS. Most of the time, negative feedback is desirable and positive feedback is bad. So I know it sounds like it would be opposite because negative, you think, oh, bad, but actually negative feedback is desirable. It's the good stuff. Sorry, I'm boring myself. Positive feedback is no buenos. Yep, not good. Predator-prey interactions and negative feedback. The Hudson Bay Trading Company over 100 years ago kept records of the animal pelts, skins hunters harvested. Hey, look, so they would have good years for those pelts, and then they would have bad years, and then they would have the next one, good year. And it would go down, bad year, good and bad. So they knew there was like a cycle every like 5 to 10 years. They'd have a good year, and every 5 to 10 years, it would crash. So, yep. Lynx are predator, wildcats that hunted snowshoe hares, bunnies or rabbits. So, answer the questions below from page 25 in the book. Alrighty. All right, might have to do some stuff here to make this viewable for you. It's actually good about there, and then I'll move this down to... Actually, I'll just make myself small for it, like there. Awesome. All right, so here you go. Answer the questions below from page 25 in the book. So if we look, the solid line is the snowshoe hare, which are like snow bunnies, and then the dotted line, which are the lynx. What eat the snow bunnies? They're the predators, all right? So if you see right here, dang, snowshoe hare population is low. In fact, the lynx population is above it. I'm going to say it's about 1849. Oh, but guess what? You can't have more predators than prey. So that lynx population goes down, all right? And because the lynx population goes down, boing, the bunny population pops up, all right? And then it stays that way. And then the lynx population goes up like that, and more bunnies get eaten, which drops their population size down. But as soon as their population size drops, a few years later, that lynx population just drops, right? And then, once it's dropped low, the bunnies were able to escape. Boom! Bunny population through the roof, all right? And then the lynx are like, hey, we're back too. All right. You notice how it's about 3 years afterwards. On average, what was the cycle length of the lynx population? So the lynx population, it looks like from right here, 1905 to 1915. Then it goes up a little bit after 1925, then a little bit after 1935. I'm going to guess it's every 10 to 11 years. All right. On average, what was the cycle length of the hare population? Bet you it's probably about the same. Right here, let's see, 1865, really big, and then it was also really big 1875, and then look, a little bit after 1885. Yeah, I'd say 10 to 11 years for that one, too, for number 2. Why do lynx numbers lag behind hare numbers? Because you need to have prey for predators to live. Why are lynx numbers smaller than hare numbers? Because you will always need more prey than predators. Number 5, things are never as straightforward in ecology as we expect, though. In regions where the lynx population died out, no more predators. Oh, wait a minute, the bunny population would go through the roof then, right? The populations continue to fluctuate. Why do you think this was? Could be because the lynx moved back in, or because other animals ate the snowshoe bunnies. Like humans. Maybe humans came in and were like, yeah, you know what? Bunny fur makes a good coat, or maybe mittens. All right. Complete this activity from page 26 in the book as well. All right. This activity at first seems confusing. It won't be. At least, hopefully not after I explain it. So below are 7 examples of positive and negative feedback mechanisms that might operate in the physical environment. No one can be sure which of these effects is likely to be most influential, and consequentially, we cannot know if the Earth will manage to regulate its temperature despite human interference with many natural processes. Label each of the 7 examples as either positive or negative feedback. All right, so there's 7 examples. You're going to say whether they're negative or positive feedback. In fact, I'll probably tell you in this video. All right. From the same 7 examples, select one example of positive feedback and one of negative feedback. Draw the positive feedback out. Draw the negative feedback out, and your selections affect the system. Include feedback loops on your diagram. So yeah, it's going to be one big kind of like loop or ramp on up. So carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere rise. The temperature of the Earth rises. As the Earth warms, the rate of photosynthesis in plants increases, so more carbon dioxide is removed from the atmosphere by plants, reducing the greenhouse effect on global temperatures. That's negative feedback. All right. As the Earth warms, ice cover melts, exposing soil or water. Albedo decreases. More energy is absorbed by the Earth's surface. Global temperature rises. More ice melts. That's positive feedback. Number 3, as the Earth warms, the upper layers of the permafrost melt, producing waterlogged soil above frozen ground. Methane gas is released in an anoxic environment. The greenhouse effect is enhanced. The Earth warms more, melting more permafrost. Positive feedback, number 3. Number 4, as the Earth warms, increased in evaporation of water produces more clouds. Clouds increase albedo, reflecting more light away from the sun. Temperature falls, rates of evaporation fall. 4 is negative feedback. 5, as the Earth warms, organic matter in soil is decomposed faster, so more carbon dioxide is released. Enhanced greenhouse effect occurs. The Earth warms further. The rates of decomposition increase. Yeah, that one's positive feedback. Number 5. As the Earth warms, evaporation increases. Snowfall at high latitudes increases. Ice caps enlarge. More energy is reflected by increased albedo of ice cover. The Earth cools. Rate of evaporations fall. That is negative feedback. Number 7. As the Earth warms, polar ice caps melt, releasing large numbers of icebergs into oceans. Let me bring that down there for you so you can read. Warm ocean currents such as the Gulf Stream are disrupted by additional freshwater input into oceans, reduces transfers of energy to the poles, reduce temperature at high latitudes, ice sheets reform and icebergs retreat, warm currents are reestablished. So, I had to think on that one for a second. That one's negative feedback. So, yep. Again, what you're to do is obviously put 1 through 7, positive or negative feedback. Then you are to draw out one of them that's a negative feedback and draw out one of them that is a positive feedback. Yep. All right. The Gaia hypothesis. A model of the Earth. developed in the 1970s. Theory that Earth is a single entity that self-regulates with negative feedback loops to keep life possible. Restate the above sentence in words you understand. Yeah, because that is a beautiful definition and ain't no one going to remember it. Who's the Greek goddess Gaia? Feel free to look that one on up. All right. Gaia hypothesis based on these facts. Temperature on Earth's surface is the same, even though the sun is pumping out 30% more energy now than when the Earth was formed. So yeah, we got 30% more energy coming out of the sun, but our temperature on Earth is the same. Composition of the atmosphere is constant. Among amount of nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide is the same as in the past. So, yep. Ocean salinity is about 3.4%. Volcanic eruptions, meteors, etc. happen, but still livable. So, yep. TOK, does the above image change the way we interpret the hypothesis? Again, the hypothesis is up here. Sometimes image is worth 1,000 words. All right. Dude, who came up with the theory thinks of Earth as an old lady. All right. Still able to bounce back, just doesn't do it as quick or easy. It's kind of like me getting out of a chair when I was younger. Hey, right up, right? Now it's like, oh, Jesus, oh, God. All right, yep, all that sort of stuff. So, yep. All right. Tipping points. Define tipping point in your own words, page 27 if you want. If not, look it up and define it in your own words. So, how do tipping points relate to stable and unstable equilibria? Let me get this good for you. Yeah, right about there, right? Characteristics of tipping points. They involve positive feedback, which just increases the change. So, yep. There's a threshold that, if met, results in big changes and are very tough to undo. Threshold's not easily predicted either. So it's like 1 degree, 2 degrees, 20 degrees, stuff like that. Changes are hard to reverse. Yep, we talked about that. Hard to see the little changes that eventually cause the impact. Tipping point. It's very rarely one thing that leads to a tipping point. It's a lot of little things. Examples of tipping points. If you're into sports, here's an analogy. There comes a point in a game where a team will pull away and beat the other team. Yep. If it's third quarter and the other team goes on a 15-point scoring streak without you scoring anything, that's the tipping point. Game's over. All right, you could come back. It could be a miracle, but it's going to be a comeback. So, yeah. Some pushback if they don't happen. Oh, wait. Let's see. Where was I with tipping points? Sorry. Oh, yeah. Lake eutrophication. Draw lake eutrophication, then relate this to tipping points. IB loves talking about eutrophication, by the way. Time for you to learn what it is. Literally, you could use it just about every other test. Extinction of a keystone species. Get rid of that one species and the ecosystem has a new normal. Think of what would happen if our school didn't have a principal. It's kind of like the apex predator, all right? Without that principal, would teachers do their job? Probably not as well. Would students be doing their work? No. Would that impact you? You'd like to say no, but hard to go on when you got somebody screaming in your ear like a Taylor Swift song or something like that. So, all right. All right, coral reef death. Yep. Comes a certain point where, like, once that coral reef has got a certain amount of, like, water temperature, acidity, amount of, like, the coral that's dead, it's not coming back. It's good and dead. Tipping points occur regionally, but some push back that they don't happen globally. The reasoning is that as one area warms, another cools. As one area becomes drier, another becomes more wet. So there is something to that, you know. They predict with climate change that we're going to be wetter here in New England, although right now we're in a dry spell. Yeah, all right. Other areas are going to be drier. So, complexity and stability. Most ecosystems are complex. The good ones are. All right. Complexity increases stability. So tundra ecosystems are simple, so their populations fluctuate big time. So like one thing can have a big effect up in the tundra. One animal having a problem in the rainforest does not have as big of an effect. Monoculture farms that grow one type of crop. Why do they grow one type of crop? Because that to them is what's profitable. All right. That's the one where they're going to make the most money with. The only problem is, say this fly which is buzzing around, there's an infestation of invasive flies and it eats all that one crop. Here's a farm, that's the only crop you got. You got no money coming in. So, yep, major problem. Screwed if a pest disease comes in and kills all the crops. Examples, the potato blight in Ireland, 1845 to 1848. They thought the potato was the best thing ever to come from America. All right, they thought it was even better than LeBron James. Like, literally, they're like, this potato thing from America is great. We're going to grow tons of them and feed tons of people. And they over-relied on it, and when the potato blight happened, a whole lot of people starved. Resilience of systems. The ability of a system to return to its initial state after disturbance. So, yep. Measure of how a system bounces back. Going back to Puerto Rico, that's one. The hurricane happened. It's a tropical paradise. That system bounced back rather quickly. If the resilience is low, the system is screwed and is going to have to enter a new state. All right, resilience is a good thing. So let's get that down there. Right about there. Move this guy right here. Good. All right. Good. So, where do we leave off? Right here. Example equals eucalyptus forest in Australia. Forest fires are generally bad, all right? Especially in a eucalyptus forest, because it's like a forest fire where the trees are like gasoline. They're just combustible. The oil in the eucalyptus makes it so it just goes vroom, all right? But the trees have buds within their trunks that survive the fire and then immediately start growing right back, where the other invasive trees do not. So in a fire, they have to start off from ground zero and regrowing. And the eucalyptus is already, hey, we got our seeds and they're already sprouting now. So they've got a head start over the invasive species.
Good afternoon, Academy of International Studies.
Oh, they're out. I'm not. I'm still working.
We have
All right.
two announcements about sports. First, there is no middle school boys soccer practice
Oh, man.
today.
All
Middle
right.
school boys
All right.
soccer players, please head home. High school cross country team members, please leave after this announcement. Your bus will be departing at
Our cross country team is pretty good.
In the first row, we've got 2403, 2417, and 2426. In the second row, we've got Bloomfield 23, 2401, and Bloomfield 25. In the third row, we
Sorry, I
have
can't talk over her.
Bloomfield 26, and 2423. In addition, if you are a parent pickup or you are driving yourself home, you may leave. Everybody else, please stay in your classroom.
I don't got the mute button either. Oh, maybe I do. All right, real fast, get back to it. Farming wants stability. Without it, we have the 2022 East Africa drought and famine. And that's bad because of famine, people die. Not all resilience is good. Think of COVID, how it's been around no matter what we do. Yep, the COVID's got resilience like you wouldn't believe. And as a result, it's still here, unfortunately. Factors affecting ecosystem resilience. Increased diversity means more resilience. Think about the biodiversity in a rainforest. There's tons of different plants, tons of different animals, and as a result, the rainforest bounces back. Tundras don't have that, though. Tundras don't have many plants. Tundras don't have many animals. So when when an event happens up there, like forest fire or something, global warming, it kills quite a bit. So let's see. More species equals more likely another species is to step in if another dies out. So if nature hates a void, so when one species dies out, it's going to plug in a different one in there. More genetic diversity equals if animals or plants are all the same, the more likely they are to go extinct if a threat occurs. Yep. So basically, if we were all the same and COVID hit us, and it hit us where it's like it lined up perfectly where it's going to, do us all in, it would just go right up. Emerald ash borers like this. The emerald ash borer comes in. It's like, hey, you're all ash trees. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Eats them all. All right. Where if you got like, other trees in the forest like oak and maple, yeah, you still have a forest. So, all right. If the other plants are all the same, more likely they're extinct. All right. Shift geographic range increases resilience. Birds are more resilient than plants. Reason why is because birds can move. If it gets too warm here, oh, gee, there's a hurricane coming. The birds are like, peace out, I'm out of here. Where the plants are like, I'm going to stand my ground and probably die. So, larger ecosystems are more resilient. Lakes are more resilient than puddles. So, yep, just the way it is. Bigger forests are more resilient than smaller forests. So they've got more ability to really bounce back and after something tragic's happened to them versus starting up from new. Climate. Plants grow faster and bounce back quicker in the rainforest than the Arctic.
Leah Ortiz, report to the main office. Middle school cross country, please meet in the cafeteria. Students on the following buses may be dismissed. In the first row, 2402, 2406, and 2410. And in the second row, 2405, 2431, and 2413. In the third row, 2424, 2419, and 2428. Thank you.
All right, back to us. All right, fast reproduction rate equals increased resilience. Rats can reproduce in 3 months. Elephants take 17 years. So if you poach all the elephants and you kill them all, except for maybe a boy and a girl, it's going to take them a really long time to come back. Where unfortunately that's unfortunately for elephants. Rats, on the other hand, if you kill all of them except for a boy and a girl, they will be bouncing back before you know it. Because every 3 months, there's a new bunch of rats that come out. So, yep, just the way they are. All right, ability to remove threats. Think of humanity and how we eliminate threats to us. Think of how we removed COVID. Well, not removed it, but how we dealt with it. We just basically, mRNA viruses. Vaccines. So, yep. Humanity can also reduce biodiversity. Lord knows we can mess something up. Our school was built on a swamp. Yep. Think of how many animals that got displaced because we needed a school. Turtles, frogs, insects, birds that eat the insects. They're all gone. Yep. Emergent properties. Property of a system, but not of the individual part of the system. So, examples of emergent properties. Chlorine, toxic gas. Stay away from that chlorine. All right. Ooh, yeah, burns. Okay. Sodium, reactive metal. Ooh, that doesn't sound good either. But you put the two together and they're table salt. Yep. You put salt on your French fries. That's sodium chloride. Yep. All right. Then you put ketchup on them. Or mayonnaise. I tend to be more of a mayonnaise guy, even though I'm with fries, even though I'm American. It's kind of like an English thing to do, but I like it. All right. Beehive works together to get stuff done. Individual bees do one thing and wouldn't be able to function. I'm going to pick on that one a little bit. Think of teachers, too. Hey, look, are you coming to me asking your advice for an English paper? Probably not. All right. Hey, are you going up to your history teacher asking him for help on your science IA? Maybe he's got more science knowledge than I thought, but generally we're pretty specific, but we function as a group. So, models of systems. Examples, physical model, Legos. I love me some Legos, all right? Software model, Minecraft. I would have loved Minecraft if they had it when I was a kid. We had SimCity. That's about it. Math equations. Math equations can show you a model, too, and of how think about this with bank accounts and money going in, money going out, and predicting the future. Data flow diagrams. Yep. Let's restart having some food chain stuff. I think we got a data flow diagram down below.
We've got 2432, 2404, 2429, and 2421. And in the third row, we've got 2422
Good news.
and 2415.
This is the last bit here.
Stay in your classes. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Model strengths. easier to work with. All right, they're easier to see. Most people are more visual than auditory. 80% of the world, I guess, is visual. 20% is auditory. If input changes, models can predict what will happen. Models are a great predictor of the future. Can be used in similar situations. If it happened once, it'll happen again. You can start to see patterns. All right. Can show things the human eye can't see. Yep. Models are great for that. All right. Model weaknesses can make things too simple. Yep. Doesn't take into account everything. If assumptions are wrong, models will be wrong. Predictions not always accurate. Yep. You can predict it, but it's not a rule. It's not 100% sure. All right. Outline one strength and one weakness of a pyramid of productivity as a model to represent energy in an ecosystem. All right. Probably looking up here for that model of strength and model of weakness. I think that is like a food chain or a food pyramid. Good. All right. Ooh, here we go. Last bit here. Blue. Figure 1, a sample food chain from a marine ecosystem to show the concentration of persistent organic pollutants. Pops! And the energy within each trophic level. So, yep. Energy.
All right, in the first row, we've got 2435,
Oh, yeah.
2409.
Getting the bus home today.
And in the second
They are.
row,
I'm riding my bike.
2414. And last minute addition, we've also got 2436 in the first row. You can head out. Thank you.
That's good because I got one of my boys with student. He's on 2436. That bus is like consistently late. Well, I'm glad they're not late today. All right. So what happens is this. State the trophic level of zooplankton. Boom. 2. All right. I would think anyway. State the relationship between POPs, concentration, and trophic level. So the concentration of POPs increases with the trophic level. All right. Explain the relationship between POPs, concentration, and trophic level. The POPs level increases because the animals, as the trophic level goes up, consume more over their lifetime, which is longer. So, zooplankton live longer than phytoplankton. Herring live longer than zooplankton. Cod live longer than herring. Seals live longer than cod. And as they consume, it bioaccumulation and biomagnification into a really toxic animal, the seals. So that if they eat the crap that all the other animals that ate before them ate, they're going to get the crap in their flesh and fat. All right. Calculate as a percentage the efficiency of energy transferred between zooplankton and herring. Ooh, that's going to be some division. 520,000. See what number you come up with. Here's a general rule. Lower on the food chain, when you eat, you don't get as many nutrients, so you have to eat consistently. As soon as you get up here to a seal, seals, they absorb quite a bit of the energy from a cod, comparatively, between zooplankton and phytoplankton. So they absorb less of the energy, they absorb more. All right, peeps. Everybody, I hope this video helped you out. My best. Bye.